Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming back into this afternoon's session. I'll just remind everybody, turn your phones off, please. And our presenter this afternoon is Lorna Piper. Lorna is an NDTF registered dog behaviour and trainer. She's also a full panel obedience and rally judge. She works as a pet educator with the DPI and is a master instructor and assessor. Lorna's going to talk this afternoon about making training fun. Just before she gets started, I would like to remind you, if you want to be included in the theory exam on the 9th of October, you need to get your application form in by September the 20th. So I'll hand you over to Lorna now.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going now. When they gave me the topic, I was going, oh, but isn't training always fun? And I thought, okay, so for the last 2 weeks I've been putting slides in, throwing slides out, getting sidetracked, so this is what I've ended up with. I hope we all get, and I'm expecting you to do some of the work too. Oh, I've gone backwards. So, a dog trainer or an instructor. I think in the past we were this sort of person. We were very firm in what we wanted. We didn't smile and, a bit autocratic. But I think I tend to be this person. And I'm sure that there should be an in-between somewhere. And hopefully that's what you guys can be, because I truly, truly believe that fun in dog training is about. And the role of the dog is changing. They're more companion, and we're understanding that they're a lot more complex thing than we ever believed they were. When I started dog training and started training people, this comment was given to me. They said, you aren't like other dog trainers I've met, you laugh. And that made me think, I thought, well, why don't dog trainers laugh? Do we take ourselves too seriously? Are we so busy trying to tell the dog what to do and not work with the dog? I don't know, but I just thought it was interesting. And I also got told when I was training a dog, stop laughing, you should be serious. I've been told that many times when I've been doing ring work or doing training. And I just think, no, I'm not going to stop laughing. You can't make me stop laughing. And I think that's what fun should be. Question you ask yourself is, who should the fun be for? My first one is the dogs. Without fun, what's the point to them? Why should they work with us? And it's all about teamwork and companionship. So dogs come first on my list. Then maybe the handlers, you guys. And if you're instructing, it should be the instructor as well. The instructor should be having fun. You shouldn't go home going, oh, that was a hard day. Those people were just rotten. The dogs were hopeless. You should be, and I'm just exhausted. You should be going home thinking, oh, what a great day. Wasn't that dog cute? And they actually learnt something. Wow, that's the best thing. What I say to people when they're training the dog is stop being a human. Humans should not be allowed to train dogs, is my theory. We do so many things wrong. We try to lure them with a treat, and the dog gets really excited and is having fun. And we go, no, you're not doing it right. You can't have it. And so, what are we teaching the dog? We're teaching the dog that we're not reliable. Here we are saying, here's some food, but you're not having it. And then what happens is the dog starts to jump and starts to bite and snap to get that food before it's moved away. And then we've got handlers getting cross. And we don't want that. So the first thing we need to do, I think, is teach handlers not to be a human and go, nah. We need to teach them to help the dog have impulse control, keep our hands still. So we get mugged. Our hands get mugged, that's fine. Dogs nudging and biting and whatever, but we just stand there and wait. And eventually the dog will go, and stop. Yay! And give them the treat. And it's amazing how quickly those dogs can catch on to that behaviour. It's the handlers I have the problem with. Then we stop rewarding them. You know, we say, oh, okay, you know what to do. I'm not going to give you food anymore. Now it's bribery, you know. So we take the food away. And we go in the ring and we do our training and the dog goes, where's my treat? We don't get any. So then we go into the trial ring. We've done 6 sessions of training. We haven't rewarded the dog in those 6 sessions of training. And we stick them in a ring with other people, and we're nervous. And then all of a sudden, and they know, oh, well, I know I'm not going to get any food because those ropes are here. And my God, my mum's not right anyway. So are they really ring-wise? Is a question I always ask. Or have we taken away their trust in us that they're going to get a reward, they're going to get the fun? You know, it's something to think about. And we talk too much. I'm the biggest one in the world for talking. I chat away to my dogs. But I've tried to learn, and the clickers help me, to shut up when I'm training. And just try and just use one word, single words, and hopefully, when I say we talk too much, we start telling our dogs to do a behaviour before we've taught the behaviour. So if we're teaching drop, again, it's a human thing. We're going, you're going to drop, and as we're luring it down. Drop, so it's standing up when you say the word the first time. Next time you say drop, it might be bending its shoulders. The next time you say drop, it could have one elbow on the ground. And the next time you say drop, it's lying down. So it's heard 4 or 5 drops with 4 or 5 different body positions. We're not helping that dog understand what drop is. So I really believe that if we shut up and label the behaviour when they're in that position, it makes for a lot quicker learning. And when I get some handlers that just won't shut up, you've got to know your class. Can I have a volunteer that's not bigger than me? Oh, you're bigger than me. Come on, you'll do. So what I do is I get somebody that I think is fairly confident and won't die. You're confident, yes. And I say to them, okay, dogs don't speak English. So you're an alien, or I'm an alien. You've just landed on my planet, and I'm going to train you because you will make a great pet. Okay? Big pet, but a great pet. So I go, slobberdosh, 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 slobberdosh. Does that look like somebody trying to teach a drop? Saying drop, drop, drop? And then I'll go, slobberdosh, because I think raising my voice will work better. Slobberdosh, slobberdosh, slobberdosh. See, I can't. And then, so that's the way some handlers try to train their dog. But if we go, slobberdosh, 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 and then hopefully I've got a bright one. Slobberdosh. Ah! Go. You guys knew what I wanted. So we'd have to spend a lot more time with that one. That's fine. Yeah, don't know what breed, but that's okay. So there's lots of things when you say you talk too much. You know, we repeat commands. We shouldn't repeat commands. You know, you'll tell your dog to sit and it doesn't sit. So you ask it again and then it sits and you go, oh yeah, you're such a good dog. Meanwhile, it's learnt that it can get away. Well, not get away, I hate that terminology. But it can learns that maybe it needs 2 commands to sit. So you need to say, sit. Okay, I'm not interested in you anymore. And 9 times out of the 10, the dog will come around and go, huh? Where's my treat? Aren't you going to ask me again? So again, it's talking too much by repeating commands. And we expect our dogs to extrapolate, good word, extrapolate learning. So we generally teach our dogs to drop from the front. And we think, the dog's doing a great job with dog nose drop. And then we stick it at the side of us and we say drop. My whole thing is, it will help you have fun if you stop saying the dog's got it wrong. If you can say, what have I done to cause my dog to not get it right? And that's the whole mindset. Like Kerry said, it's a way of life. It's a way of thinking. So what you've got to think about, when I get a person that says, my dog's being hard, difficult, he just knows drop it, but he won't do it. You look at what the dog sees from being front on. The dog sees the whole of you. The dog sees a full bend. What's he see from the side? You've changed the exercise, I think. So why not just reteach it? They'll learn a lot quicker, and you don't have to get frustrated. You can say, okay, I'm going to expect this problem. If you can expect the problems before they happen, it makes you a lot calmer when they happen. We ask consistency from our dogs, particularly in our heeling, but we don't return the favour. We want them to stick by our left leg. Judging, I hope she's not here. I had one lady in the ring that had 5 different commands for heel. And I sort of said afterwards, because she's going, I said, what's your heel command? I'm not supposed to do things like this when I'm judge. And I said, it's heel. I said, so why did you say come up, come on, watch, everything? So we were expecting our dog to be consistent, but we're not verbally consistent. Our hands aren't consistent. If we're expecting our dog to be at heel, we should have our hands in a specific place. And if you're teaching people that don't want to trial, that's really hard to get them to be consistent. But you just try and put everything into a real life situation. When might you need your dog to heel close? When there's a gang of youths coming down, showing my age. A gang of youths coming down the street. And you're thinking, they look a bit tipsy. I don't want my dog to cause any hassles here. And so you get your dog in heel, and you sort of sidestep around and march past. And that's a good practical example of why we use heel. Or you want your dog close when you're crossing through busy traffic. Where I live, there's not much busy traffic, but still. We inadvertently build our body language into our signals. And then we wonder why the dog, when we go, stand, the dog's dropped. But how do we teach it to drop? And we go, stand. So who's getting it wrong? The dog or the handler? And we've got to think all the time, what am I doing that made my dog do that? You might have your fingers like that, you might have your thumb like that. Little things, if you've worked really nice and tightly with your dog and built a really good relationship with your dog, those little changes are going to be really important to your dog. We get what we want and we stop moving forward. So you might say, okay, for example, I'll do a handshake. Great, I've got the handshake. So the dog does a handshake for the next 5 years. But why not turn it into a wave? Why not turn it into a high five? Always push them further. And, they'll have more fun because they don't want to just stay there. And you'll have more fun because you can go, yay, it's a breakthrough. What is our reaction to a growl? The times we hear a growl, what is the reaction to a growl if your dog growls? Sorry?
There was food around to growl.
Yeah. So how do you react?
Well, if growling like that, I don't want that.
No, it's yeah. So that's good. Because so many people, though, the dog growls and they'll slap the dog and say, shut up. Human response. We don't want to hear our dog growling. It's horrible. People will think I'm a bad dog owner because my dog growls. We take the blame on ourselves. It's not us that's growling. It's our dog. And the dog growls for a purpose. It's saying, I'm not comfortable here. I'm not comfortable in this situation. And you say, thank you. And that's hard. To try and tell somebody to say, thank you, you growled. You're wonderful. But what happens if we stop them growling? We're going to get a dog that just lunges. Because he's going to say it's no good warning, because I get whopped. So we need to accept, and that's a human thing, and it's really hard to get over if a dog growls. This one, I was judging one day, and I thought, oh, what am I doing wrong? See, self-blame, even when I'm judging. So it is a lifestyle. And then as I was driving home, I thought, it wasn't my fault. It was training issues. Because generally, when we do a stand for exam, we come from the dog side. Do we? Yeah? But in this situation, the gate was over there, and I was coming from the handler's side because I didn't want to put my bum at the steward. Because how can you watch feet if some judge has got their big bum sticking in your way? So I thought, okay, I've got to do it from the other side. And I thought, I wonder if that's why I had 3 or 4 dogs break when I've never had any dogs break before. You know, and then, and it's happened at club too, that one person said, but she knows the stand for exam. She should do it. And I'm going, but I came from the other side. You know, so stop telling the dog it's wrong until you've gone through all options of what you might have done to make it wrong. Yeah, so question yourself before blaming the dog. And that makes it more fun for you too, because you've got more questioning happening, you're thinking more, you're not getting grumpy with your dog. Words with baggage. There's certain words that come with connotations and that I try to avoid. People get in the ring and go, working! And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, what a great start. Nobody comes in the ring and says, fun! You know, they just go working, and immediately you start thinking, oh, what's work? What does that word bring to mind? You know, what does it bring to mind to you? Happy fun times? You know? Yeah, so does that change how we're approaching what we're doing with our dog straight away? You know, just these are just thoughts. Obedience in itself. Yeah, that can be nasty, can't it? You can have blind obedience. You will do as you're told, no matter what. Yeah, but yeah. So even that's got a little snidgy bit in there. Healing. How many people? Healing's boring. So that whole word comes to you and you think, oh, we've got to do healing again. My dog hates healing. It's so boring. Why is it boring? Because you've made it boring. And to me, healing is the biggest trick in the book. Dogs don't want to heal. They want to be chasing rabbits. So if you can get them to do that biggest trick in the book and treat it like a trick, stop thinking of it as work. Start to think of it as a trick. How can I get this trick for a long duration? You know, yeah. And again, but healing, it sort of has this, to me, dominant. Oh, he's dominant. Oh. That changes how you think about your dog. Could change how you think about your dog forever. Because automatically some people will go, dominant, I've got to be on top of him. He's got to know I'm boss. But Can't you work with them? Is the dominance going to take over the world? You know? Is your teammate? Build a relationship that will help him use his dominance to get things right. Like I said, I hate dominance. Assertiveness sounds better. You know, he's a bit assertive, he's a bit pushy. So, you know, you just sort of guide his pushiness and you can get some beautiful work from those dominant dogs. So I try not to use that word. And like I said, I use assertive. And I go, woo, when I hear dominance. Submissive. You label your dog submissive, and again, it impacts on how you train your dog and how you think of your dog. So everything your dog, oh, you're a big sookie, Lorna. You know, instead of thinking, oh, it's just done a rollover, wow, I'll click that. You know, you can look at the behaviours and you can catch them and use them. You don't have to just say, oh, geez, it's done it again. You know, use it. And, yeah, leave. You know, leave can be, I've seen leave taught as a leave and come to me. And that's fine if you can maintain that. Human beings, though, they can't. They can't do it like that because all of a sudden it becomes leave. You know, I mean, leave. So what's wrong with saying come instead? I don't know what it is about the word leave, but it can turn nasty in quite a lot of the percentage of times, even if it was taught nicely to start with. Fun theory. It's actually a theory for human beings. It's, like it says, if you want to engage in a particular behaviour, such as studying, you need to make the behaviour fun and novel for your brain. So, you know, is it different for dogs? We want them to engage in learning, maybe not at uni, theoretically, but you want them to have fun and enjoyment when they're learning. So this is a lot of people stuff now. Research has shown that if students are in a good mood, they learn more. Can we take that to our dogs too? You know, can we say if our dogs are in a good mood, they will learn more? Brain research has suggested that fun's not just beneficial to learning, but it is also required for authentic learning and long-term memory. So if our dogs learn in fun, could that learning last longer? You know, I had somebody come the other day, her dog hasn't seen a dog club for 7 years. And she hasn't done much with her dog. And we used all the foods and all the good stuff, the positive stuff and stuff. And she goes, he comes to class and he remembers everything. And she goes, wow, that is amazing. So in that case, it was a long-term memory. Because he had fun at club. Fun actually promotes increased learning, learning by increasing those dopamine, endorphins and oxygen to the brain. So could we take that to our dogs one step further? What we're learning about our dogs is their brains maybe react the same as ours. You know, when they stick them in the MRI machine and they say their favourite word, their little brain lights up in exactly the same places as a human brain does. It's so fascinating with what we're doing. And if your members aren't stressed, if your dog's not stressed, if they're involved and motivated with toys and treats, there's a better understanding of what they need to do. Training. Keep the training short, precise, no talking. Have a Zen moment. I did that once. It was really weird. But I just was standing there and it was really calming. I felt it really calm. I've been to lessons where I've come out and gone, oh, or twitchy, because it's been do this, do that, do this, and your dog's doing it wrong and it's not getting it right and it's, a nightmare. But this was, I came out of there and I thought, that was really a great experience. So if we shut up, be calm, wait for behaviours. I really love shaping. I have a doofus at home. His name's Sweep. And I thought, he wasn't ever going to heal, and I didn't want to bother. So I just sat with him, because that's all he could do. And I had a handful of treats, and that dog, I was thinking about it the other night, he taught himself to reverse, because I didn't do anything, so he paddled backwards. So I clicked him, and then I treated him, and he looked at me. And then I didn't say anything, and he took another step backwards. So I clicked him, treated him, and he thought, you could almost, one of those Zen moments, you know, because I wasn't talking. And I waited, and he took a step backward, and I ignored him. He took another step backwards, so he got a click. He ended up teaching himself to walk backwards half a metre, you know, without me actually saying anything. Then I had the trouble of labelling it, didn't I? But he taught himself by me just sitting there, and I call him Doofus. I was thinking, why am I calling this dog Doofus? You know, look, because he can't heal, that's why. He taught himself to sit up and beg. He's taught himself to put his chin down, to lay down, to back up and lie down, to back up and brag, all without me telling him. And I'm thinking, he's not a doofus. I should do something with this dog. So shaping behaviours, and so often we we get fixed ideas. Humans again, fixed ideas. I'm going to teach my dog to do this. Oh, he didn't do that, but he bowed. I don't want to bow. Why not have the bow? Why not capture that bow and use it for later? You know, don't disregard wrong behaviours. They can be used later. Got to play with them. And don't go into training with expectations of how far you're going to get. Because one day you might get nowhere, and one day you might just zoom ahead. So it's really important that we don't put expectations on ourselves. These are only my ideas, okay? Don't put expectations on ourselves or our dogs. So what makes a class fun for dogs? You guys can do some work. Play? Lots of rewards. Games. Tug? Achievements, yeah. Because if they get it right, oh my God, my mum's really happy. So, treats. Clear directions, so they understand what we want them to do. No punishment, because we don't know that they understood it properly. I have, my punishment's probably to the dogs when they get it wrong, because I don't know 100% that I've taught it properly, you know, and I might have put my hands in the wrong place, and that's why they got it wrong. So I don't like to punish in case it was my fault. And if they've tried really hard to get it right, we need that relationship. Being with you. Having your attention. If you've got multiple dogs and you've got one out there with you, then that could be a really special moment. So don't wreck it by getting grumpy. Yeah, having your attention. What about other dogs being on the ground? Dog interaction. We don't really want them to do that, but sometimes they do, and that might be their reward. So if do we want these things to happen? Yeah, we would like having attention. If we don't want to manage them, how do we manage what the dog wants? You know, you've got to work out, that's really hard to work out what your dog wants. So you try lots of things. Tug's really good. There's lots of things in training that takes a lot of time. Like throwing a ball takes time, whereas treats are quicker. What makes a class fun for a handler? Can anybody think of anything else than that? That's supposed to come up on point form, but it didn't. What do you get out of being a handler? What makes it fun for you? Yes?
Seeing the dog do the exercise.
Yep, seeing the dog do the exercise.
Seeing the handle understand what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, that's right. That helps. Yeah, yes?
Me, definitely seeing the dog have fun.
Yeah, and the waggy tails. Yeah, as an instructor, I love seeing my class not the handlers, the dogs, with waggy tails. You know, and when I don't see the waggy tails, I really get, oh, I'm doing something wrong. How can I get these waggy tails to happen? You know, and sometimes when you swap classes and they don't know you're a crazy dog trainer, they're not quite sure how to take what you're doing. And so they go, I don't know. So the handlers aren't comfortable then, so their dogs aren't. But we need those waggy tails. To me, that is what a class is about, waggy tails and learning, if we can have both. If you're going to be instructing, like the dogs do, shake it off. Shake all your problems away. Get rid of all you know, if you've had a bad day, you know, you tripped over the step when you left your kitchen, you burnt the saucepan, whatever. Forget it when you get to class. Know your class requirements and always find something positive to say. Even the worstest dog in the world and the handler that just doesn't get it, and you leave the class going, oh my God. Just go up to them and say, oh, Fido's looking gorgeous today. You know, I really think he's looking really, really nice. Or something, just it helps you too to get something positive out of the experience, as well as makes the handler that's probably been struggling. I throw tradition out when I do a class. I'm lucky because, oh, there's my horrible accent. I'm lucky because I have lots of space where I train. I like to educate my people. I like to talk to them about things that we're learning about dogs in class. It makes them look at their dogs differently, I think. Like just, you know, oh, your dog's sniffing. Oh, could be stress perhaps, but we don't tell them. Wow, look how many scent receptors they've got. Imagine what they're smelling on that bit of grass. You've got to get their attention. What a challenge for you. Let's not blame the dog. This is your job to get their attention. Don't go yanking their heads off the ground. What are you offering them once you get their heads off the ground? You know, what's going to keep their heads off the ground? If it's, you know, if they're just sniffing for the scents. Paw preferences. You know, that's really interesting. 10% of people are left-handed, 50% of dogs are left-pawed. Right-pawed dogs, they've found out, are more likely to pass guide dog requirements. So that's really interesting. And they're sort of looking at left-pawed and tail wags. Right tail wags can tell you about your dog's personality. It's a happy doofus brain. I told you about doofus brain, I can't hear. He's a right tail wag. He comes right round. He's fairly laid back, fairly confident, really happy, you know, go-lucky chap. Left tail wag, they may be prone to some anxieties. You know, so would that impact on your training? Could it impact on your training? Would you need to perhaps do a little bit more crate training with one that's maybe going to be worried when they're left, that could have things? So looking at things like that and talking to your class about things like that helps them think, this isn't just a dog on the end, a piece of fur with 4 legs. You know, this has got things happening that are really good and different to us that we've got to cope with. And there's actually been a study done too about the clicker. I've got to look at the pronunciation, I'm terrible. Amygdala, part of the brain. They are now they now believe that the click stimulates that part of the brain. And so it actually helps lead to rapid learning, long-term retention. So there's a doctor in Germany, Dr. Schoening, that's doing that research now. So, you know, maybe that's why the clicker trainers are having luck, because they're zoning in onto a part of the dog's brain, and it's like magic. We teach them to circle spin. When we introduced circle spin into rally, that caused a bit of contention. But my class has been doing circle spins for 3 years before rally came in. You know, we'd be walking along and I'm looking, we're healing again. Woohoo! Let's put a circle spin in. You know, and it just breaks it up. Don't be a traditionalist. You be passionate about what you're doing. You're there to help these people. You're helping these people bond with their dogs. You've got the opportunity to make everybody's life better, because a life with a dog is just magic. And especially if that dog has got a really good relationship and teamwork. Crazy recall. I love my crazy recalls. It's probably, I don't know if the agility people call it a restrained recall. I have no idea. But I'll just hold the dog. Again, know your dog, please. You don't want to hang on to a dog while the owner's running away. Come fight her, if the dog's going to take your arm off. But hold the dog. Let the owner run away. And if they can't run away, like me, you let them stagger away going, oh, that's fine. So long as they're calling the dog and waving their arms and being silly, and that dog needs to go, I want to get to my mum. I want to get to my dad. I want to go. And then you let them go, and it just goes woomph. And it's really good to build up speed and enthusiasm. And people will say, why are you doing that? And I'll say, because if your dog's in the park, you're not going to say, stay there, I'm going to call you in a minute, and walk off. You know, you're going to have to call it back from something else. So by doing that crazy recalls in class, I'm hoping to help that sort of situation. It's not just, and to build speed for those recalls. You know, how often do we see a dog go, as the owner walks away, the 10 metres or whatever, and they goes, okay, I'm coming, Mum. We want the speed. Yeah, and you've got to think about what every class should do. Everybody in that class should be doing something. That is what I'm really passionate about. There should be nobody standing, not doing anything with their dog. So even if I'm doing a stand for exam, the other people in the class will be told, do a circle spin, teach your dog leg waves, unless you're a short lady with an Irish setter. Teach your dog a distance down. Do circle spins, do something, but do not be doing nothing. It's really important. They're there to get the best they can. We add our tricks. I mean, tricks help. Breaks up the monotony. And what are you going to do for 45 minutes in an obedience class? There's nothing wrong. And look at the disciplines we're getting now for A and KC. You know, we're getting tricks, we've got dancing, we've got nose work, all of these things you can be building into your classes and getting. I don't like to see lots of healing because it's not perfect. I want to see little bits of healing in my classes that are perfect. And so if I say to my class, we're going to heal across there. And I will say to them, I'll say forward, but you get your perfection, you treat your dog, you stop, and you go again. I'm not an autocratic instructor because I want them to have perfection and success all the way across there. Whereas if I just said forward, right about turn, left about turn, some dogs are going to not be healing. And that's not benefiting anyone. So if I give them the option of saying, okay, we've gone over to those trees, and I'm watching you, and if your dog doesn't heal, you're in trouble. Because they've got every opportunity to stop before that dog messes up. Okay? Don't expect, that's what it said, don't expect to have everyone doing the same thing. Be open so everybody has success. It's like my sit-stay. Oh, sit-stay. Don't like stay anyway. Why do we use stay? Why not tell them to sit? They know sit. 90% of dogs are taught to sit as puppies. And then all of a sudden, we'll say, sit, stay, and walk off. And they'll go, what's stay mean? I have no idea what stay means. And they might get up because you've left them on a different word. Whereas if you say sit, and they're confidently sit, I've got this in the bag, then I've seen baby puppies that can do a sit-stay really quickly if we use the word sit and not stay. And something that brought it home to me many years ago, that we're really sometimes maybe not fair to our dogs when we say stay for a sit and a down. Because, and again, it's a training thing. These people were there with their dogs and they went, sit, stay. Really like that. They marched off and they stood there staring at the dogs, and the dogs go and lay down. So they march back. Sit! Stay! And off they went again. Stood there. Oh, dog got it right. Cool. So we just patted the dog. Good job. Then we went, drop! Stay! Both dogs, both of them, guess what they did? They sat up. So what did they do? Drop, stay. Then they go back. Oh, you were wonderful, you know, great dogs. What was the next exercise they were going to do in the ring? Sit, stay. But who are they going to blame for getting it wrong? So, you know, maybe if we leave it with a sit and a down, that might be better. And like I said, so my sit stays are anywhere on the oval. We might be halfway through a social walk. You know, walking around, being loose, letting our dogs say hello, 3-second meet and greets. And then I'll say, okay, sit, stay. They sit their dogs up, walk away. But their instructions are, do not let your dog fail. You go back. This is the expected time for this class. This is what I want you to reach, but I don't want your dogs to fail. You go to the distance, you know you will be successful. You go for the time, you know you'll be successful. So all that keeps it fun. Look at your class. Look at the dog. Can it do the exercises? Learn about the breeds. Research the breeds. If you get somebody trying to teach a drop with a Jack Russell Terrier and a Border Collie, the Jack Russell Terrier owner gets very depressed. Because the Border Collie goes, oh, yeah, I can do that. Jack Russell goes. And the owners go, look at that dog. And the Jack, so you just have to go, yeah, well, look what your dog does used to do for a living. You know, used to go down burrows and get rats and stuff. Would you drop in front of a rat? Really? You know, so get them to think more about what their breeds do. So working positions, they age in the health of the handler. You know, we can't go having them marching across paddocks when they're a bit wobbly. And you've got to look at your handlers. Some handlers just go, I'm not teaching my dogs tricks. It's demeaning. You know, but it's not. It teaches them, it builds a relationship. It teaches you to learn how they learn. And they don't plot against you. The times I say, I did it on purpose, they don't. They don't. So, yeah, I've probably gone too long now. So these are some of the things you can do in your puppy class. Luring and shaping. I love shaping, like I said. And don't change the shape of your hand. Lure for minimum times for a down. So you've got your hand like that, luring the dog into a down. And then all of a sudden the instructor says, okay, we won't use food anymore. So immediately, human beings go, drop. And the dog goes, huh? Oh, it won't drop without food because you've changed the shape of your hand. You know, so keep your hand like that, get it down and drop a treat. You know, because we do things without realizing what we're doing. So if you've used your food as a lure, your hand as a lure in food, your hand shape changes straight away. Give your dog some chance to succeed. Successive approximation is lovely. So that Jack Russell Terrier that's going for the drop, get your food and get it to move one paw and go, wow, have a party. You know, that's one step closer to getting you to drop. Again, stop. We can have mat races. We can do the fastest sit. Take a bag of lollies out. Okay, dog's going to do the fastest sit? You did, you get a lolly. You know, give the handlers some treats. Why not? And you can have target sticks for healing. Teach position so you can get it right. I like teaching heel position. I hate walking when I'm teaching heel. Let them know that heel means left leg, chin up, looking at me. If I move that leg then, I expect them to move with it. Yeah, sorry, I'm speeding up because I've got my buddy over there watching. Organise with like your class 2s for a small demo and video it. Stick it on Facebook. It might only be, okay, sit your dog forward, 4 steps. 1, 2, 3. Call your dog, front. 1, 2, 3. Sit your dog. Leave your dog 4 steps. Keep it to 4 steps. Otherwise they get confused. 4 steps everything. But go back 4 steps. Down your dog. Go back. Collect your dog. 4 steps forward. Yeah, and halt. They love that sort of thing. And it makes them look good. And leapfrogs are really good. So you as you go forward, you do one person will drop their dog, the next person will go round, drop their dog, the next person will go round. So you might have 4 in a row, all doing drops. So you've got a line of dogs on a drop. Go. There we go. I don't think have I got volume? Sorry. This is noughts and crosses. So put some hoops down. And your class 2s could do this. You know. Yeah. And does it work? After the last trial, I had a happy dog. The handler wasn't quite so happy. But yeah, and don't be embarrassed to get down and dirty. You know, you just get down there and do what you've got to do. And like that day was just horrific. But the judge had a great day. She killed herself a laughing. The dog had a great day. I had a great day till halfway round it all got too much for me. But yeah, so yeah, and there's some things. So thank you, and we'll go outside and do some healing. I'm sorry, I was there too long.
Okay, if you can all quietly move outside. Lorna's got some dogs prepared outside. She's going to do a bit of
Sounds like they're